So when I saw that Eleanor was like basically about to throw down with the Romulans when he was protecting Picard and Hugh, and he made that comment that I guess is now his catchphrase, "Please, my friends, choose to live." Not only was I affected emotionally by how badass Eleanor is, I also thought they better not kill him or the network will not live. Just saying. Hi guys, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach to Nerd, and in this episode we are reviewing episode 6 of Picard entitled Impossible Box. I have a sinus infection and a very bad cold, so I normally do my videos straight without any editing, but I don't know if that's possible because I really am coughing a lot. We'll see how far I get. So these are the things that I really liked in this episode. Picard and Soji having parallel struggles on finding and dealing with what they are. Picard accepting that he still has the Borg in him, Soji finding out she's actually not human. Both occurred simultaneously in this episode, which I thought was really cool. There's a really cool shot where they kind of juxtaposition this frame. So Picard's looking at the screen and he sees himself as Locutus of the Borg when he was assimilated in TNG. And he's staring at the picture of himself in Borg, mode. And the camera shifts, so it looks like his face has now become superimposed with Locutus, and that they're one person. And that, to me, reflects what Picard feels inside. He has a lot of trauma. He knows he has his humanity back, but he knows he doesn't have all of it, and he knows that there is still Borg inside of him. And how could it not be? He was assimilated. The same thing happens if you're a Whovian with the Cybermen. Sometimes you can get a little nugget of your humanity back, but your entire body has been transformed. Your consciousness has been transformed to be a collective. So that trauma that we see that Picard had even back in First Contact and dealing with the Borg Queen, he has not been able to let that go. He basically kind of talks about the Borg like they're a plague, like they metastasize, they're a cancer that, comes to you and takes over and basically destroys everything in its path, which is not untrue. But what I did like about this episode is that later on he realizes that they are also victims like him, which makes sense. You can't see it when you're traumatized, but he was a victim, so of course these other people were victims. They weren't willingly going to the Borg saying, "Assimilate me." And they are also the most hated people in the Picard universe. And he's starting to see that, hey, these people, these ex-drones, are people like me. He can relate. There's even like a part, like there's a quick scene where he's walking on the Borg cube and like one of the ex-drones says, "Locutus," like they recognize him. And he actually looks at him. And I'm like, and we kind of got a gist of him feeling like he wasn't completely human when he talked with 7 to 9 in the last episode where she asked, "Do you feel like you have all your humanity back?" And he says, "No, but I'm working on it." So I do like him coming to terms with that. I also love the reunion with him and Hugh. It is absolutely cool. They haven't seen each other in like 29, 30 years. That was awesome. I don't know why Hugh didn't ask about Geordi, only because he had a really big bond with Geordi in TNG. And maybe he has seen him. I mean, it has been 30 years. They probably have run across each other, but I don't know. So that to me was a little meh, but I loved Hugh and Picard's reunion. I thought it was super sweet. And I love the fact that we got to see Picard have a panic attack. I know that sounds weird, but it makes the character more human because Picard has always been like the kick-ass, captain who can do everything in every situation. But he's so human in this series, and I do like that. I know a lot of people probably don't, but I do. He had a full-on traumatizing panic attack when he first set foot on basically the artifact or the ex-Borg cube. The walls seemed to be closing in on him. His heart was palpitating, and we got to experience that. As someone who has had an anxiety attack before, it's not fun. So I love the fact that you got to see it from his perspective. And the other thing that I thought was cool was that when the two ex-drones were trying to help him and keep him from falling, in his mind, all he saw was them trying to take him back to be assimilated, and that is such a real moment. I love that. So I think how they're handling Picard dealing with his time with the Borg is awesome. Soji has a similar breakdown, only it's almost like yin and yang. She's degrading, where he's kind of coming to terms with stuff. She's losing it because she fell asleep talking to her mother again which she's already trying to feel like there's something wrong with her. She talks to Narek about it, and he basically implants in her head, oh, well, maybe something happened. Maybe somebody put false memories in you and sent you here to find something, and you don't even know what it is. Oh, and by the way, you've only talked to your mother like 70 seconds, like every day. She's like, what? It's like, how do you not know that, And then as my pseudo boyfriend or whatever we are, why are you just telling me this now? And why were you looking at my phone logs? There's just so many questions there that she should be asking, but does not. But he convinces her because she tells him that she's been having nightmares, which intrigues him because a synthetic having nightmares is odd. But Data later on in TNG has no dreams, so a dream capability. So, maybe Maddox kind of had the same technology put in Dahj and Soji. But the dreams, or nightmares, are basically her version of a subconscious, basically telling her what she is and the truth around her. Because no one's being honest with Soji at all about anything. So her own mind is doing it. And in the dream, she's a little girl and she sees her dad working in his workshop and there's beautiful orchids blocking what he's doing and she can never get around it. And he catches her every time and he yells at her. And so Narek takes her to like this Romulan, I think it's like a meditation spa type scenario, but it's very taboo for anyone who's not Romulan to do it, but he's able to get her in through like threatening the guard. And they light these candles, and every time she walks this path, she's walking in her dream. He's doing it so he can get information on where she comes from and where the other synthetics are. And it works. Eventually he gets her to complete the dream, and she sees herself being worked on this table, which is either her and her subconscious is letting her know, hey, you're not real, or that's Dahj. I don't know. But it's just very weird that the little girl sees an older version of herself, which I don't think actually happened. I think it's basically a nightmare conjured by her. I want to call it synthetic subconscious, that basically says this is what you really are. Narek actually tells Soji his real name is Haranan or Harayan, which may be true. I think he actually gives her his real name because he has fallen in love with her. He has this moment with his sister where she basically accuses him of being in love with her, and he has like this Romulan Rubik cube called the Impossible Box, hence the name of the title of the episode, where he's like, patience, you have to have patience, sister, you weren't born with it, blah, 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 the relationship still creeps me out. But the end of that conversation, he basically comes up with this plan of, I know how to get to her without activating her. And he does. After he completes this Romulan meditation dream sequence thing with Soji, and she realizes something's wrong and she goes to him for comfort, he tries to kill her. He kisses her goodbye and locks her in this in the sauna or spa area with like the Impossible Box that has like this poisonous gas. The radiation should kill her, I guess. But she activates and she starts tearing up the floor and jumps through it. Narek then puts a hit out on her saying kill on sight. So that's when Picard and Hugh basically come across her, and then they go to this chamber where we learn that the Sicarians, who, if you remember in Voyager, Captain Janeway was trying to get them to help because they have this like transporter technology that can like launch you 400 years and forward in space. And Janeway, of course, them being stuck hundreds and thousands of miles away from Earth, was trying to get their help to get home, get her crew home. But of course it did not. I don't think it worked out. I'm pretty sure it didn't because they did not get through home for a very long time. But what actually ended up happening is the Borg Queen, apparently they assimilated the Sicarians and took their technology. And so the Borg Queen had the technology in her chamber, in case of emergencies and she needed to evacuate the ship, meaning all the other drones were just SOL. She was out. So Picard and Soji used that technology to launch forward, which I thought was cool. I like how they actually incorporated that. That's, pretty neat, a good way of doing that, and then have the rest of the team meet. Eleanor unfortunately stayed behind to fight the Romulans. He better not die. I will be angry if he dies. He is my favorite character. He's the one character that is unaffected by all of the stuff that they've all been affected by. He was raised by Romulan kick-ass assassin nuns. So he has his own stuff, but he's not affected by all of this drama that the rest of the cast has. Rafi is still messed up over her son rejecting her, and now she's drinking again. She's doing her snake pot again. Yes, I'm calling it that. She does concentrate long enough to help get diplomatic credentials to get Picard on the ship to meet with Hugh. But then she's back to drinking and whatever. And Rios, you see him put her to bed, and she even says, "Did you know I had a son? You knew me for all this time. Did you know I had a son?" And like that whole moment with them is really cool because they have been friends a long time, and they both dealt with really traumatizing stuff. And, you know, he's taking care of her. And I thought that was a really cool moment. But yeah, Rafi is not doing well. And Rios, Rios slept with Girardi. It was like a make me feel better sex moment because she was all down and depressed and felt lonely. I'm like, you freaking killed Bruce Maddox. That is the part of this episode that bothers me. There's no carryover from what happened in the last episode. I mean, yeah, we get to see Rafi still, you know, spiraling because of her son. But Girardi murdered Maddox, and it's like no repercussions in this episode except for her feeling bad and having sex with Rios to make herself feel better. That is weird to me. And also, the EMH that was in the room with her last episode while she was killing Maddox and she deactivated, what's to stop him when he's reactivated by Rios to be like, by the way, this bitch killed Bruce Maddox. You guys, she's a traitor. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so weird. And then on top of that, she's got this whole guilt thing and you feel bad for her, but you know she's there to sabotage Picard's mission. So it's like, you can't feel too bad. It was a very weird moment too when she was so relieved that she didn't have to go in the Borg cube with him. Because yeah, I think she was ordered to kill Soji. So they don't even realize who they have in their crew. But yeah, I will be mad if Girardi is there and Elnor is not. I will be very, very, very annoyed. Something funny though, I thought it was really interesting when when Eleanor kind of knew that there was tension between her and Rios, meaning he could sense they did it. And so he is so observant, and they don't give this kid credit. And they keep calling him kid, even though he's capable of killing them all very easily. They don't know that. They don't know his skill level because they never saw him fight. So yeah, I'm very intrigued where the next episode is going to take us, especially at the end. We did see Riker in the trailer, so I know we're going to see Deanna and we're going to see, you know, Riker. I'm happy about this. I just want to know what is going to happen. I guess maybe where they were going is where, yeah, maybe that's where Riker and Deanna settled with their kids. Maybe they're going to their planet. I don't know. Just throwing that out there. I mean, they have to get there some kind of way if they're going to meet them. So I don't know. There's so much that I want to know. And we only have, 4 episodes now? So yeah. A lot happened. I liked it. Just have a lot of questions, you know. As usual, you're going to have a lot of questions with continuity and writing. It is very hard to write very good continuity for a cast this large. It just is, especially when you only have an hour broadcast. I get that. They probably shot a lot of stuff that didn't even make it into the episode. But overall, Picard and Soji's coming to terms with who and what they are were the overall themes of this episode. I did like it. I just wish we had more of a shout out to Geordi. I wish they had more of repercussions to Girardi. I wish that we got to see a little bit more of what's actually going on with the Romulans. You know, because I mean, honestly, the Borg are the most, even the ex-drones are the most hated people now in all of the Picard universe, and they're the victims. And they traded, as they said, their Borg queen for a Romulan queen. So what is the end game here? Why are the Romulans doing this? What do they want? Why are they so into the technology? What are they after? I mean, it's just so much. So I enjoyed it. I want to know what you guys think. Please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next on the nerd bell, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.